Good morning and welcome to Kehillat Shari Torah's Halacha Review and Counting the Omer for Monday, May 18th. Today is the 39th day of the Omer. Hayom Tisha Ushloishim Yom Shehem Chamisha Shavuos VaArba'a Yamim LaOmer. We were speaking about what happens when Shavuot falls out on a Friday, first day of Shavuos on a Friday, which in fact is our case this year, coming up next week. Very quickly, writes here, Rav Mordechai Eliyahu writes that someone who usually eats meat early on Shavuot day and after 6 hours eats dairy food, that person should eat their meat meal this year even earlier than normal, in order to be able to eat the dairy meal still within the permissible time period. We said yesterday that we want to finish our Shavuot daytime meal earlier in the day rather than extending it quite long into the afternoon, so that when it comes time for Shabbat, Friday night dinner, we have a good appetite. We're not still stuffed from the cheesecake and the kugels and the quiches and all that wonderful milchig stuff. Now what he's saying here is that someone who eats meat and then waits a certain time and eats dairy food after that. The idea of this custom of eating both a dairy and a meat meal is to show that we know the difference. First of all, on Shavuot, when we received the Torah, that's when we got all the instructions of separating meat and milk. So part of the celebration is to show that we now obey the kashrus regulations, and we separate between meat and milk, and we know that you're supposed to wait in between from one to the other, so as not to mix them together, not in the meal and not even in our digestive process, insofar as that's possible. So the idea of having meat, that's a fulfillment of the Torah's command, v'samachta b'chagecha, to be joyous on the holiday. For men, says the Gemara, that includes drinking wine and eating meat. Different suggestions for women and children. We'll talk about that another time. But the idea of eating meat is a fulfillment of Simchas Yom Tov, also because there were offering sacrifices brought on Yom Tov itself. I've never seen anybody, can't think of a situation, just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, of someone eating a meat meal and then waiting 6 hours to eat some cheese blintzes or cheesecake or something for an extended time dessert. That's quite a long time to wait. What you see in common practice for those who eat both dairy and meat on Yom Tov Day, on Shavuos Day, is to have a kiddush like we do in the shul with some kind of dairy foods. Could be cheesecake, could be blintzes, could be anything with anything you like with dairy in it. And then to wash hands, change the tablecloth, change the silverware, obviously change everything on the table. Wait a little while. Half an hour is a suggested minimum. If you can wait an hour, that's wonderful. And then tuck into a nice meat meal in honor of Yom Tov. Again, to show that we separate between milk and meat. Also many midrashic interpretations that Torah, which we received on Shavuot, is like mother's milk. It's nourishing, it gives us everything we need, and so on. So a lot of customs to go along with eating milk, and it's a fine custom to enjoy a piece of cheesecake, particularly with your coffee, I suggest, on Yom Tov. However, what we usually do is to eat the milk first, the dairy first, and then the meat later. One should be careful. There are a few kinds of cheese. We call them colloquially 6-hour cheese. Referred to in different names in halacha. Cheese that was aged longer than 3 months or even 6 months. Swiss cheese is often like this, is very dense, very oily, and the taste remains in the mouth for a long time after you eat it. So we treat those kinds of cheeses, those kind of dairy products, very few of them, as having the properties of meat, in that you have to wait 6 hours before eating the other type of food. So in general, unless you're going to eat only milchiks on Yom Tov, which I know that some people do, so just be careful not to use those 6-hour cheeses. A lot of the kosher cheeses will mention aging process, aged more than 3 months or 6 months or something like that on the label. If you have any questions, please be in touch. How about the spiritual side to counting the Omer for day 39? 39 days are 5 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. In your Siddur, your Art Scroll Siddur, page 286, after counting the Omer for day 39, you'll follow the Hebrew across, and you'll find the Hebrew combination of Sfirot, Netzach Shebiyesod. Netzach Shebiyesod, endurance in bonding. Here's Rabbi Jacobson's explanation of that. An essential component of bonding is its endurance. its ability to withstand challenges and setbacks. Without endurance, there is no chance to develop true bonding. Questions to ask myself: am I totally committed to the one with whom I bond? How much will I endure, and how ready am I to fight to maintain this bond? Is the person with whom I bond aware of my devotion? Our exercise for the day: demonstrate the endurance level of your bonding by confronting a challenge that obstructs the bond. There you go, something to keep us busy all day long. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.